Dr. Morrison, you are recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Ms. Devlin and Ms. Flint for being here today and for your service to VBA. I think we all agree that our veterans deserve to have their disability claims decided in an efficient, transparent, and fair manner. I look forward to hearing more from you about how VBA can strengthen both the speed and quality of its claims processing. Ms. Devlin, as a physician myself, I want to begin by asking you about an issue we've been hearing about related to the disability exam process. We've heard that software incompatibility between VA and C&P examiners have prevented the examiners from properly receiving a veteran's medical records. As you know, this type of disconnect can lead to exam deficiencies, which in turn can lead to an incomplete or insufficient disability benefits questionnaire, which of course can result in the claim being unfairly denied. How is VBA addressing this issue and working with its contractors to ensure software compatibility?
Thank you. I'll let Ms. Flint, your audience. Ms. Flint, address it.
Thank you for the question. I'm not aware of any major disconnect between those two systems. As you mentioned, it is important that our examiners have access to the information that we have about the veteran, but I can take a look at that and get you an answer on that.
I would appreciate that. Thank you so much. And as you know, Ms. Devlin, the National Work Queue is intended to evenly distribute work between regional VBA offices who pass that work on to claims processors. However, we've heard from claims processors that the system is not always assigning them enough work during the day. In fact, some of these employees have had to solicit work from their supervisors. Are you aware of this problem, and what are you doing to fix this reported breakdown in the process?
Ma'am, I can answer that question. Thank you for it. NWQ does, in fact, distribute the work, as you mentioned. It distributes the work right now to the regional office, and then the regional office distributes it to the employee. We just had some upgrades to NWQ that we believe in the future, where if there is a situation where an employee feels that they want more work, they can go to NWQ and pull that down themselves. Right now, if that's the situation, they're able to go to their supervisors who can get that work for them. But a chronic not having enough work is, we have a lot of work.
So they can pull directly from the NWQ?
Now, they can pull from their regional office queue. So the NWQ sends work to the regional office, then the regional office decides about who gets what. They have their own sort of days of work from the queue that they can access.
Would it help streamline it if they could just go directly to the NWQ?
Not always. In some cases, since it's a national system, what we don't want are people going in and sort of picking the cases that they want. It disrupts the flow of things, and it may be not allowing us to strictly do first in, first out processing of claims. So we discourage that. There are, of course, emerging cases where we need to go get a case, but by and large, this distribution system, which in the old system, you could only do once a day. In the newer system, we hope we can do multiple distributions, but we don't want folks kind of going into NWQ without, it causes some challenges.
Understood. I want to end by turning to the use of artificial intelligence, a point of interest, I think, for all of us. AI obviously offers immense potential to streamline claims processing, but it's essential that these tools are implemented with strong guardrails and transparency to be sure that they're being used responsibly and effectively. While we all want veterans to get their claims processed as soon as possible, I'm sure you would agree, Ms. Devlin, that it's essential that claims are adjudicated fairly and accurately. Could you share a list of all the current and planned AI use cases?
Thank you for the question. AI is both an enabler for the business process supports that I mentioned earlier, the decision support. The use case we're looking at right now is the one that takes and looks at every piece of evidence inside the case to determine if all the medical information that's necessary is already there. So a lot of veterans already have medical evidence that they're giving us, right? Between their service treatment records, their private treatment records. And what we're trying to do is make sure we're not unnecessarily sending them to a medical examiner when we already have all the information we need. When I go to the regional offices and I talk to VSOs, that's one of the concerns they've raised to me. We know there's enough evidence in the file. Why are we making the veteran go to an exam? So this use case will use AI to determine if all the evidence is there, so we don't need an exam, or if there's enough evidence there, but we still need a clinician to basically render an opinion, then that would be the acceptable clinical evidence. That's a use case we're looking at now to try and reduce unnecessary exams, but we'll still do an exam when necessary.
So it's pretty comprehensive, the use case. Can you, and this has come up already, but I think we all just want to hear it loud and clear on record. Can you guarantee that there will always be a human making the final decision on a claim?
There will always be a human making the final decision on a disability claim.
Very reassuring. Thank you, ma'am. With that, I yield back. Thank you, Mr. Chair.